Toe strap always, screwdrivers together, but anyway, that engine was blown. I blew a motor on a SWM 650. Trick is, if you don't want to get flat tires and you use tubed rims, ultra heavy duty tubes. Ultra heavy duty, not just heavy duty. Tools I carry, just adventure riding, and you want to be self-sufficient. So let's get into it. I'll just get my roll bag off the top. What I will start out by saying is cable ties are your best friend, always. They'll fix anything. So in my backpack, I always have some cable ties. My toolkit I put on the opposite side to my exhaust. If I was going on a trip, I'd pack it down a lot better than what it is now. I've just sort of thrown everything in, and we'll go through each bag and what I would take. So I have with these liners, and I just roll them up. And this is my heaviest artillery. And I've also got chain lube. And I slide down the back of my pannier bag. I put that on every afternoon when I pull up and I've been riding, and I do it while the chain is still warm. I was taught that, and I do it. And my chains tend to last a long time. I keep that actually on top all the time. So I don't want to be opening this too many times when I'm on a ride, because this is my main tool one. Sometimes I do evenly distribute the tools on either side. Just depends on how much I'm really carrying. Sometimes I might put some of the tools in my roll bag at the top. A lot of it has to do with, like I said, on the style of trip and how much luggage I am actually carrying. But I have a tool roll, and inside of this tool roll I have tools for probably 3 or 4 bikes that I've owned over time, but I'll never let go of anything inside of here. It is actually a little bit heavy, but that's in my first roll. As a tip, what I do when I'm working on my bikes, I work on them in the garage with my tools. So you can see here, I've got KTM pliers because I've had a few KTMs over the years. I've got a KTM screwdriver. I've got spanners. I've got my socket for my front wheel. I've got more cable ties. You can never have too many cable ties. I've got little sockets. I've got extension bars. I've pretty much got everything in here, and it's not even tidy because I do put it inside my other bag. But I have pretty much everything inside of here that I need to do, most of my work. So I put that just in one of these pannier liners, and that's my first one that goes in. So this is the heaviest one. This one here, I have a spare front tube, standard front tube. I don't let this rub on anything inside of my bag. I keep it separate. The only thing I have in there is my first aid kit with bandages and things like that. It's got my basic essentials, and I think when you're adventure riding, a compression bandage is probably one of the most important tools you could have for safety. So what I would do, because that's so light, I would probably, if I didn't want to overload my bags, I would put that in my clothes side, or I'd put it in my roll bag. But that comes with me on every single trip I go on. I don't go anywhere without that. That is that front tube. The front tube will also go in the back to get you out of trouble. The trick is, if you don't want to get flat tires and you use tubed rims, don't mind there's no chain on here. I'm in the middle of doing my chain and sprockets. I use ultra heavy duty tubes. Ultra heavy duty, not just heavy duty. 10,000 kilometers, I'll get brand new tubes put in. Or if the bike's been sitting for a while and it's a couple of years old, I'll change the tubes out. And getting flat tires on rides it slows the whole day down. Your bike up on a log and all that sort of stuff. You can do it. You always get by. It's actually not that difficult to change your tubes out on a trip, but it's just very time consuming. You can be in the heat, you can be in the snow or whatever. I always take a mini jump starter. I have a wheel brace for my T7, which also acts as a tyre lever if I need a third tyre lever. I've got a repair kit, but with glue. I've got 2 repair kits with glue and patches in them. So they have both, and I just never let go of stuff. I have tyre levers. I could slide them in my backpack actually. take the weight out of here. I have electrical tape. I have the gas cylinders. I have more gas cylinders. I've got a lot of them. I got a lot of them because I used to get a lot of flats, and since I went to this ultra heavy duty setup 5-6 years ago, my flats have been very minimal, touch wood. I carry a spark plug for the bike that I'm riding. I always have a spare part spark plug. Emergency tape, in case I get a radiator hose leak. I have spare batteries for my spot tracker. A hand pump. When I do big trips, I'll actually take 2 hand pumps. 2-part metal, in case I get a crack in my engine case. If I'm doing big trips, I'll also carry just 500 ml of engine oil. These are for my gas canisters, my CO2 canisters, another one of those to connect on. And make sure in your toolkit, although you take a spark plug, that your spark plug remover fits your bike as well, that you can have the ability to pull a spark plug out. I was once riding across Australia and we actually had to, spark plug socket didn't fit my spark plug. So we had to make do and we actually put screwdrivers together. But anyway, that engine was blown. I blew a motor on a SWM 650, 250 kilometres from nowhere, and I got towed 250 kilometres. So that's my toolkit. I don't really take, that'll sit on top of that other one pretty well. Leaves a bit of room still on the top of this pannier. If I'm doing rides on the bikes with tubeless tyres, I take a tubeless kit. So you can get them anywhere. It's just a tubeless motorcycle kit. But another really important tool is a tow strap. Tow strap always can come if you're broken down or whatever, or vice versa. You might be riding and someone needs a tow and you can just go and help them. I hope you learnt something from this video, and I'll see you on the next one.